41, 51, and we're going to look at the data. So we're going to click on View Report. We're going to go through all this and put your questions in. So as an educator and a scholar, I'm looking at data. We got 16 students. We have 32 questions. We have a 79% accuracy, a 100% completion rate. And I'm going over each question. Which of the following is an example of an improper turn during a test? The correct answer is swinging wide, going into the opposite lane. So most of you know, well, I can't say that because many of you turn into the wrong lane. You need to turn into the nearest lane. And a lot of you don't do that. You're going too fast in your turn. You're not paying attention. I think we already talked about hydroplaning before, so I want you to ask me something different. Hydro is water. Plane means to lift. So you got to go slower when it rains. But I want you to go deeper than just hydroplaning. And I'm looking at some of your questions and I will answer. So I answered your question. Don't be shy to ask questions. So if you go too fast, if you're late to school, late to work, late to home, you're going to speed. And when you speed, you try to make a turn and you're going to go really wide. And in the wintertime or when it rains or snows, you're going to spin out of control. So that's really an avoidable mistake. You got to go into your turn a little bit slower. And I think that's really important. So 3 of you got it wrong. Let's go on to the next. Again, keep putting your questions in. The question is, why do teens usually, because, Kelly, I'm going back to that, because you don't understand that it's danger when it's raining. That's why teens get in trouble, because the cause, it's raining, the effect, you're going to crash. So I looked at that question from a different perspective. What is an easy mistake for early drivers to have and how to help? I'm going through it right now. And as I go through it, I'm going to paint a story to help you. I like the questions. Thank you, G. I like the question. I'll answer the question as I go through. So you got to learn how to drive smooth. If your mom drives fast, your dad drives slow, you're probably going to be in the middle. What I need you to do is really take your time. So we're talking about parking right now. What action will result in a failing of a parallel park? If your car is being more than 2 feet from the curb, you're too far out, or you're on the curb. Most states have some type of parking test, okay? Most states. And you have to know how to park. If you're going to go to a downtown area for a concert, sporting event, you have to know how to park. You need to practice parking in front of your house. You need to practice parking at the school, at the college, at a mall, anywhere there's open, at the church. Practice parking over and over and over and over till you feel comfortable. Practice backing in your driveway. That's really important. So 15 of you got it right, 1 got it wrong. What is the safest following distance to maintain behind a vehicle to pass the test? The safest answer is 3 to 4 seconds. 1 is too close, 10 is too far. Through research, traffic engineers, the National Highway Safety Transportation, they have identified about 3 to 4 seconds. If it's bad weather, you increase your following distance. Teen drivers or beginning drivers tend to drive really close because you're in a hurry, you don't have good speed control. So rear end collisions happen a lot with our beginning drivers. So we're going back to hydroplaning. Your car will slide all over the road. That's how you know you're in trouble. And by the time that happens, you're going to crash. So because you don't know, or because you're driving too fast, or only 2 people in this class have driven in the rain, the rest of you have not. So you're going to be at a disadvantage. And you're going to end up maybe spinning a little bit, sliding out of control. Why is checking your blind spot harder to do in a faster area? I like that question. Because you have to do it quickly. Faster areas could be heavy traffic, morning rush hour traffic, afternoon rush hour traffic, you leaving your high school. If you don't check it quickly, you just sideswipe the car. You just cut someone off. So you have to be efficient. And a lot of you are not efficient. You move your head really slow, and by that time, you're already ahead of the car. So it takes practice. I like the questions. The questions are getting better. What is a frequent mistake that people make on the first time? They slam brakes. They are tense up on the wheel. They don't move their head. They drive too slow. They stare at things. They get information overload. I can go on and on and on. So I gave you a bunch of things. It's not just one thing, it's multiple things. And then you have something called information overload. I'm about to take my driving test. I wonder what will be the best thing to practice. Listen to my live right now. I'll go over it. I like the questions. They're starting to get better. So, Isabella, your school parking lot is very dangerous. In the morning, you'll get ran over by parents, by teachers, by your principal, by the police. Isabella, when you leave your high school parking lot, you're going to get ran over by seniors, football players, parents, school bus. It's very dangerous. That 2 to 5 p.m. is the most dangerous. You have people who are in a hurry. You have inexperienced drivers. You have mothers who are trying to get to a location. You have dads who are trying to get to a location. People run lights. So you've got to really take a breath back and pause for a second. Let's keep going. I like the questions. What should you do to pass when stopped on a hill during a driving test maneuver? You want to use your park brake. This prevents you from rolling back. And believe it or not, that is common, okay? Let's keep going. Put more questions in. What is the correct action when you hear sirens? A lot of beginners panic. They don't get over. That's automatic failure. And you're being selfish because someone's life is in the balance. Either someone is in the ambulance or they're going someone. So you want to get over. You want to think of other drivers instead of thinking of yourself. What is the most common mistake during the drive test? It's a bunch of them, and I'm going over it right now. 1, you go too fast. 2, you go too slow. 3, you don't yield for cars. 4, you don't look over your shoulder when you merge out onto the expressway. 5, you don't put on your seatbelt. 6, you don't listen to the instructor. So it's not just one thing, it's a multiple series of things. So this is why you need to practice, and I try to scale it up. I want to keep going. I like the questions, let's keep it going. What is an automatic fail? What is the main reason stopping on the railroads is automatic fail? It's a dangerous maneuver. Turning in front of a car, making a left turn, dangerous maneuver. You should yield. Going over the speed limit, dangerous maneuver. Running a yellow light, dangerous maneuver. Many of you know, but you still speed or you drive too slow. Keep the questions coming in. What is the purpose of the road test checklist? To avoid mistakes. I'm trying to get you prepared. Some of you are 17, some of you are 18, some of you are 500. I'm joking. You want to prepare for the test now, and I'm preparing you now. And that's good teaching. I always want to elevate. What documents are required to bring with you for the driving test? Your learner's permit. Yes, about the multitude of mistakes. Okay, if you're already in the intersection and you're getting ready to make a left turn, that's fine. You want to wait until traffic clears. Then you make your left turn. You may have to make your left turn just as the light turns green and cross traffic is ready to go. Once you enter the intersection, you have a right to leave it. What I try to do is never put pressure on you. If we're making a left turn, I know as an instructor, you could hit the gas instead of the brake. You're going to turn in the wrong lane. You're going to go too far and hit the curb. You're going to panic and look to the left instead of looking straight. All of you do this. You don't know where to look. So I prepare for these things and I don't rush you. Usually I have you wait until your green turning arrow or when it's clear until you learn what to do. Because I'm not going to put myself and yourself in danger. Once you enter the intersection, you have a right to leave it. What should you do even when pulling out of a parking spot? You want to turn on your blinker. You want to let people know what you're doing. If you don't believe me, pull out during your school parking lot. You're going to run over a football player. You're going to run over your teacher. By turning on your blinker, you let people know, oh man, they're pulling out. Or try parking at a football game. You guys still have football games. You're in high school. Some of you take college classes. If you're pulling into a parking spot, you turn on your blinker. It lets people know what you're doing. You let cars know what you're doing. You have to learn this, and you will. Why are more teens usually okay? So we're still talking about hydroplaning. I already answered it. You go too fast in a dangerous situation. You don't know it's dangerous, and then you crash. So I'm listening to your same question, but answering it. You go too fast. It's wet. Your car lifts over the water. You crash. So go slower when it rains. Go slower when it snows. Go slower at night. Go slower in the fog. There's more to driving than hydroplaning. There's black ice. There's heavy traffic. There's people driving too fast. There's people driving too slow. There's people who are tired. I like that all of you are kind of focusing on the hydroplaning, but driving is more than just hydroplaning. And again, only 2 of you have driven in the rain. So I like that you asked about hydroplaning, but I need you to go deeper than that. Hydro. If you're stuck on a railroad crossing, you should never be stuck on a railroad crossing, Olivia. I'll say it again. You should never be stuck on a railroad crossing. But that tells me you had a poor teacher, and I'm not that guy. Again, you should never be stuck on a railroad. If you don't have room to go across, you don't go. I'll say it again. You should never be stuck on a railroad. You want to give your life to heaven? That's what's going to happen. So for you to say that, that tells me that you weren't taught properly or you don't understand. You never get stuck on a railroad track. Okay? You got to prepare. Never get stuck. If you don't have room, Olivia, you don't go through. Okay? You should never be stuck. And I like it that you put in the ambulance. I like it that you put in the police. But if you can't get through, don't go. If there's not enough room, don't go. You have to protect your life, guys. It's like you saying, would you walk across the street when the do not walk sign is flashing and then the police car is coming by? No. You stay safe until danger goes by. That's a good question. I gave you a real answer. Love that. You're always nervous taking your test because you have someone watching you. They have a clipboard. They're going to evaluate, and they should. And I have some other examples. I love the questions. And Olivia, thank you. And I gave you an honest question. Don't get stuck on the railroad cross. Never. Okay, when preparing to turn or change lanes, how far should you signal ahead? It's about 3 to 5 seconds. You need a blinker. 6 to 8 is too long. 1 to 2 is too short. So about 3 to 5 seconds. 1001. 1002, 1003. I love the question. Keep the questions coming in. Which of the following is not a correct step for parallel parking? Not correct. Hitting the curb. You hit the curb, you'll fail. You hit the curb in your parents' car, they're going to look at you side-eyed. Girl, what's wrong with you? Boy, what's wrong with you? Can you not park? Did your instructor not teach you? I teach you. And if your parents don't practice with you, you're going to fail your road test. I'm just being honest. Father Driver says, should we go? The answer is you always drive at the speed limit. If you go over the speed limit by 1 mile an hour, automatic failure. A lot of beginners always ask that. You drive at the speed limit, but I have evidence to prove different. I like the question. If you want to pass, drive at the speed limit. If you want to fail, drive 10 under, drive 10 over, drive 3 over. You will fail. Every road tester is evaluated by the state they live in. The average fail is about 35 to 37% for various reasons. Everyone doesn't pass when they first take their road test. And speeding or going under the speed limit is a great way to fail. I like the question. I get written right to the point. Learn to drive at the speed limit. And then I'll show you evidence. When merging onto the freeway, what should you do? Match the speed. But what if everyone is speeding on the freeway? Everyone is not speeding on the freeway. What if people are going too fast? Everyone is not going too fast. You're going to limit. What if people are going too slow? Match the speed. All of you have common sense. You know what to do. There's not imaginary situations when you drive. They are people who follow the rules. They are people who don't have tickets. If I get tickets, I will lose my driver's ed endorsement. Why would I do that? I'm not. So it's not okay to go over or under. It's okay to drive at the speed limit. And I'll show you evidence. I love the question. How can practicing in the test area help you? You gain confidence. You reduce your nerves. So you need to practice making right turns and left turns in your neighborhood. You need to practice pulling in your driveway. You need to practice backing in your driveway. You need to practice parallel parking, but you guys won't do that because you're too tired, or the neighbors are going to laugh at you, or your friend is going to post a video on TikTok and you go over the grass, or you're in the street. If you don't practice, you won't feel comfortable. If we practice going on the freeway 3, 4, 5 times, I want to see you get up to speed. Some of you go too slow the first time. Some of you go too fast. Some of you don't look over your shoulder. Some of you drift out of the lane. Some of you go off to the right. So all of you are a little bit different. I love the questions. Let's go to the next question. What is the best way to stay at the same speed? It takes practice, Connor. It won't happen overnight. You have to go out and practice. Some of you will push the gas too hard. You'll go too fast. Some of you won't push the gas at all. You'll go too slow. It takes practice to get out there in rush hour. Anyone can drive in the morning when there are no cars. Anyone can drive at 6:30 or 7 o'clock. There's no one out there. But when people are driving fast or people are driving slow, you have to have that discipline. Love the question. Keep eating. What should a driver do at a stale yellow light? Stop safely if possible. I didn't say slam the brakes. I didn't say go through. You have to make that decision on your own. And for many of you, when you drive with me, you're making good decisions. I shouldn't have to hold your hand. Okay, stop. Okay, go through the light. Okay, I want to see you make the decision. And then you gain confidence because your mom or dad won't have a brake. Your mom or dad won't have the dual mirror. Your mom and dad won't have a driver's ed card that has special insurance in case you have an accident. Your mom and dad will scream at you. Your mom and dad will cut your head off if you're not paying attention. And a lot of you kind of lose mental focus. I tell you go left, you go right. Oh, I'm sorry. I tell you go straight, you stop. So I realized this and I try to speak calmly. I try to give you support. And that's what a good instructor does. Your parents will scream at you and you'll freak out. What is considered a failing action when pedestrians are crossing at the crosswalk? Creeping forward. You want to stop behind the stop line, make eye contact, let the pedestrian walk by. When it's clear, inch forward. What is considered a failing action regarding adaptive cruise control? Letting the car speed up. Cut those features off. Takes practice, Connor. If you want to be a good video gamer, you got to practice every day for 5 or 6 hours. You got to play on difficult maps. You got to have good competition. You want to be a good driver? Drive around your neighborhood for half an hour, making right turns, making left turns, pulling in people's driveways, 3-point turnaround, backing in driveways, stopping, looking left, looking right. When cars come, you get over to the right. Practice going to the end of your block, checking traffic, looking left, looking right. When it's clear, go into the nearest lane. Practice making left turns. But a lot of you won't do this because your mom and dad are busy, or they're tired, or they don't want to drive. So you got to wait for your mom and dad. What is the success rate for parallel parking we use in lane line reference points? 92%. So when we're driving, I always talk about look at the solid white line. You want to be on the left side. Some of you are still going off the road to the right. Some of you are still drifting to the left because you're staring at the speedometer. I passed my test last week since I was on the live. Thank you. I want to hear good stories when you pass your test. What is the purpose of tactile feedback? Prevent you from going off the road. Some cars have a steering wheel that shakes, or you hear a little audible sound. Put in more questions because I'm going to go over some other information to prove all of you wrong. Who benefits from the National Highway Transportation Safety Organization approved textile feedback? Hearing impaired drivers. There are drivers who have hearing disabilities, sight disabilities. Okay, all drivers don't have 20/20. You may have 20/20 when you have your glasses on. What should be demonstrated for wipers and mirrors during a pre-driving checklist? All settings. They're going to check your headlights, taillights. What is one of the instructor's notes for improving during parallel parking? You need more curb line reference. The reason we don't hit the curb, I tell you to look ahead. What is recommended for practicing merging on expressway? Third gear acceleration. Some of you say, what is third gear? When you first push the gas, your car's in gear 1. From 0 to about 10 or 12, cars shift differently, trucks shift differently, every car is different. Then when you push the gas harder, your car's going to go into second gear. That could be 12 to 17, 12 to 19. Then when you push it even harder, your car's going to be in third gear. That's when you use the momentum to merge and have speed to get onto the expressway. According to specific statistics, teens who train with 3-second weather scenarios pass their attempt the first time. Some of you will have to take your road test in fog or rain or snow. No, I can't do it. I can't do it. I'm scared. I get it. According to the 2023 Minnesota study, what is the common mistake for 27% of fails at four-way stops? You don't understand the rules of the right of way. And we're going to go over this. If you go over the stop line, it's that automatic failure. If there are pedestrians there, yes. If you almost hit a car and you're making a right turn, yes. If it's considered a dangerous maneuver, and I'm reading, and I'll read it. I have it right here because I want to speak with truth. I'm going to read it. It says 10 or more driving errors. 2 unsafe parking, 2 unsafe driving maneuvers result in automatic fail. So if you go way past the stop line, that could be 1 dangerous maneuver. If you blow a yellow light, fail. So you don't want to put that power into your road tester's hand. I need you to put in some questions, and then I'm going to share some other information. I'm not waiting for you. Put in some more questions. The biggest thing I see, you question going over the speed limit. You have a fascination with hydroplaning. It's just driving in the rain. You question blind spots. How do I check my blind spot quickly? You just look over your shoulder quickly. I'm going to share some other information with you I think is really going to help you give some insight. Put questions in, put questions in. I'm going, okay, so why are driving tests so tough? Driving tests are not designed to be arbitrarily difficult, but they are reliable indicators of a person's ability to operate a vehicle safely and responsibly. What does that mean, big bro? If you run yellow lights, you're probably going to run yellow lights and crash or get killed. If you speed over the limit, you're probably going to drive fast. If you turn in the wrong lane, you probably don't understand how to turn the car. So I'm giving you information to help you understand. Gravel's like little ball bearings. It forces you to slide off the road. So if you're a sloppy driver, the road test will expose your sloppiness. If you're a good driver, the road test will show you are a great driver. Think about it like that. Okay? The toughness stems from high stakes. Let's use Isabella. I'm her road tester. If she blows a red light, automatic fail. You're like, you're right. If she stops on the railroad track, automatic fail, dangerous maneuver. If she almost hits a pedestrian, automatic fail. If she runs through a yellow light that almost turns red, automatic fail. Let's flip it, Isabel. You see a yellow light and you slow down within 3 seconds. I'm clapping. I'm like, that's a good driver. You see a pedestrian coming that you know it's not looking, and it almost happened to us this weekend. I'm not going to name the driver. We were making a right turn. I told my student driver, look at the pedestrian. He had his hoodie on. He looked too long, and then a car came from our left. I told my student driver, I'll take the responsibility. I'd rather get hit by a car than kill someone. But my student driver should have stopped, but he did not. I'll say it again. My student driver should have stopped, but he didn't. So we could have confirmed what the pedestrian was doing with the hoodie on. We didn't see his eyes. And he kind of side-eyed looking to the left. So I hit the brake. The car went past us and the pedestrian did nothing. So you as a beginning driver, you need to look both ways. And if you think a pedestrian is going to cross, you wait. So that's what happened to my student driver this weekend. Public safety imperatives. According to the World Health Organization, road traffic injuries are the leading cause of death for children and young adults 5 to 29. All of you are over 5, but you're not 29. If you're going to die, it's going to get being hit by a car, being in an accident. Licensed authorities have the duty to ensure new drivers do not become statistics or cause harm to others. Let's talk about my student driver this weekend. I would have failed him because he made a poor decision and we almost got hit from the left because I said, look at the pedestrian. He did. What I should have done was hit the brake. And then he would have said, why are you doing that, bro? I would have said, bro, you didn't stop. Looks like the pedestrian would have walked in front of us. Oh, you right. You right. He didn't give me an attitude, but I'm telling you the action I should have did. Put in what you just learned from that situation. All of you need to type into the chat what I just talked about and why I should have hit the brake and why my student driver almost got his hit or could have hit the pedestrian. Type in what you just learned. Show me you're listening. Risk prediction. And that's what we were doing. Research shows that studies found that Google Scholars, the role of student education is road safety. This is from 2008. Suggests that a rigorous licensing process is one of the few proven methods to reduce novel crashes. That's you. You guys are novel. You're beginners. Please put in what I just talked about. Am I alone here on this Zoom? I felt alone. I asked you to type in what I just went over and why I should have hit the brake and why my student driver made a mistake. Show me you're listening. This class is not just about us reading papers, doing some stuff from 20 years ago. I'm telling you real life. And he should have failed his test because he made a poor decision. That's a dangerous maneuver. And your road tester would say, this was you only have 2 dangerous maneuvers. You blow a yellow light, that's 1. You don't look left and right and you pull out in front of a car, that's 2, you fail. You back to your mom and dad crying. So if you drive fast, you're going to get exposed on the road test. If you make poor decisions, you're going to get exposed. Some of the most common things are making a right turn and not looking left. Some of the most common dangerous situations are making left turns and not looking at traffic. That's dangerous. That's why student drivers and teens die or adults die. The test aimed to assist not just skill, but judgment. So I described the situation, poor judgment. All of you have poor judgment because you don't have experience. I didn't say you couldn't drive, but you have poor judgment. You go too slow. You go too fast in the neighborhood. There are kids playing. You should be going 10, but you're going 25. You don't realize the danger. You're driving in the rain. You're going the speed limit, but you should be going 10 under. You don't realize the danger. You're speeding out of your school parking lot because you're late to work, but a kid tripped and fell. It happened last week. So if your parents let these small things go by, you kind of go, when you're backing out of your driveway, you don't look. A truck is coming. You just backed into a truck. Oh, I'm sorry, bro. It's your fault because you didn't yield to oncoming traffic. And if some of you don't understand, you're going to end up crashing. So I have to teach you, show you the consequences, show you the hazards, and build your confidence. This is why your parents don't want to be road testers or driving instructors, because they'll cut your head off because they don't have the patience. You're right. This is why you are teaching my daughter. You are teaching my son. Real talk. Create safe driving habits. This is one I'm trying to get for all of you. Looking left, looking right, yielding, pausing at the stop sign, not being sloppy. The test focuses on learners to move beyond just getting by. If you're just getting by, you will fail. I need you to build good habits, good speed control, checking your mirrors, checking your blind spots, feeling comfortable. Constantly scanning, consistently scanning. A lot of you don't do that. Mirror checks, you don't do that enough yet, but you will. Signaling, most of you signal because I'm on your head. Use your blinker, but you forget to look over your shoulder, or you put your foot on the brake. You're like, you're right, but I'm getting better. These habits become automatic. I'm trying to make you have automatic habits. Putting on your seatbelt. Mirror, turn signal, blind spot. Going slower, stop tailgating. Now, if your mom and dad are inconsistent, your dad drives fast, your mom drives fast, your mom has road rage, your dad has road rage, you could be the total opposite, or you could be just like them. Common mistakes, evidence-based. Studies on driving tests and novel drivers errors consistently show a few areas. Meta-analysis during the test phase will show these are the most common culprits. Observation of junctions, especially left and right turns. We almost got hit by my student driver because I told him to look at the pedestrian. I was right, but he looked too long, and then a car came from our left. This is when I hit the brake. And he looked at me like, bro, why did you hit the brake? And I looked at him like, we almost got hit. But if he doesn't understand it, he's like, you're right. Understand what I'm trying to do, because your parents won't have a break. So failure to perform effective and timely observations, mirror checks, is the single biggest culprit. This includes not checking blind spots. That's one thing. A lot of you said, well, what are the biggest things? Give me 1 second. And I'm going to drop them in the chat. And then you should write this down. The good students will. Those are the things that you struggle on. Feel free to write them down. 1, you don't look around. We almost got hit this weekend. 2, you don't use mirrors. You don't check. You rely on the mirrors only when maneuvering and not consistently being aware of situational awareness. What do you mean, big bro? You're in the school parking lot. You're going too fast. You're in your neighborhood. You're going too slow. Well, what do you mean? You're at about 5. You should be at least at 15. This lets kids know, okay, a car's coming. I'm going to wait. But if you go too slow, kids get confused. If you go too fast, kids walk out in front of you. Please put some questionnaires behind this. Moving off safely. Failing to check blind spots when you move off from the roadside. Rolling back unnecessarily. Positioning, incorrect lane position. All of you are guilty of this. A lot of kids still hug the right. You go off the line. Some of you are on your third drive. Thank you, Connor. Connor's on his third drive. I had him go on a really curvy road. He still kind of hugs the right some, but he's more consistent. Some of you still hug the left. Some of you still look down. I'm looking at your eye movement, your pupils. Look ahead. Incorrect lane positioning on roundabouts. Some of you go in too fast. I have to hit the brake. You're about to hit the median. Oh, some of you don't look left. A car's already entered, and if I don't hit the brake, we crash. You're not looking before you go into the roundabout. Speeding, driving too fast for the conditions, even if under the limit, or less commonly being excessively slow. A lot of you do that. You drive too slow, really slow. And that angers drivers. They cut us off. They tailgate us. Respond to traffic signs and signals, failing to act on road signs such as stop or speed limit changes. Do drivers really follow the rules? It's mixed. The short answer is no. When you're done with me, you're going to speed. When you're done with me, you're not going to use your blinker. When you're done with me, you're going to speed. Fast driving. I'll put this in too. Feel free to write it down. Here's the next bit of information. The short answer is no, you're not going to follow the rules. If you're late, you're going to speed to school. If you're late, you're going to speed going home. Number 1, fast driving, speeding is a major contributor to a crash severity. Your age group has more accidents. This is according to the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration. I want to use scholarly sources so you think I'm not just saying some stuff. Look it up if you don't believe me. Consistently reports that speeding is a factor about a third of all fatal crashes. Drivers often speed due to time pressure, anonymity, you think you're invisible, or a misjudgment of risk. And then when the light changes, you're going too fast. A person walks out because they want to get across quickly, you hit them. And then now you have a fatality. So if you learn to drive fast, you're going to drive fast. If you're running late all the time, you're going to speed. Driving slow. All of you do this in the beginning, driving slow. While often perceived as safe, driving significantly slower than the flow of the traffic is also a hazard. Consistently, the elephant racing, where multiple vehicles are blocked, and frustration and dangerous overtaking. All of you caused this on your first, second, and third drive. You go 10 under the limit. I kept having to tell my drivers on Sunday, drive at the speed limit. Drive at the speed limit. I'm not being mean. I'm just telling you the truth, but you still don't do it. And I see the drivers behind us angry, mad, but you don't do it. And then at a light, we either have to slam brakes, we get hit, or we have to run a light, we get hit. So you have to drive at the speed limit. Slow driving, often perceived as safe during significantly slower than the flow of the traffic, is also a hazard. Frustration and dangerous overtaking, leading to risky maneuvers by other drivers. A lot of drivers cut us off. Rear-end collisions. A faster moving traffic approaches a slow-moving vehicle. Drivers have to slam brakes. And they're like, what the? And then they get mad at us. And then you look at me like, am I going too slow? And I tell you, I keep telling you you're going too slow, and you do nothing about it. The key is appropriate speed. Driving at the speed limit is safe and on the current road, weather, or traffic conditions. So drive at the speed limit. Please type in a couple things you're learning, because we're getting ready to get into the boring book stuff in a minute. I'm not done if you really want to get better. Classroom training, 30 situations and associated problems. Stopping, starting, and basic controls. Hello, I feel alone again. I want my drivers to be good. I want my drivers to be good, but many of you just sit here like, bruh. Bring energy in. Number one, stopping, starting, and basic controls. Situation, moving off the roadside. Problem, not checking blind spots. A lot of you don't do this. 2, stopping at the side of the road. Problem, too close to the corner. Parked car. We almost hit mirrors this weekend because you're hugging the right. We do a cool down in the neighborhood. We're making right turns. We're making left turns. You can ask my drivers. We saw a lady in a pink car, pink interior, pink hat, pink shoes. It's real. She was all pink. We saw a guy working on a tree house at an uncontrolled intersection. So if you drive too close to parked cars, you're going to break a mirror. Panic stopping. A lot of you panic stop at intersections, not knowing whether to move left or right. Poor clutch control, stalling the car, incorrect steering. You cross hands, you hit the curb. I've had to turn the wheel out 3 or 4 times so you don't hit the curb. You're like, I'm sorry. 2032, I'm out. I keep telling you. 3-point turnarounds, not effectively doing a 360 observation. Oversteering, understeering. A lot of you do that too. You oversteer or understeer. So there's a lot of teaching to go over. A lot of you oversteer. You go too hard to the left, too hard to the right. You go over the curb. I'm not going to let you destroy the driver's ed car. I'm just being real with you. And that's the failing maneuver too. Failing to judge speed, overcoming traffic correctly, creeping too far out into the intersection. Failing to slow down at appropriate stop. Some of you tend to drive too fast and the car's out of control. Yellow box junction, entering the box without a clear exit, thus becoming struck. That's what happened when we were driving. My student came up too late, had too much speed. I saw the pedestrian. He had too much speed. He didn't really look to the left solidly enough. A car came by across our face. I hit the brake. Turning right at a crossroad. Problem, incorrect positioning, too far to the left or right. Poor gap. A gap is the space. Situation, filtering a turning arrow. You're not checking for pedestrians or red light runners. It's true. People run red lights. Pedestrians will walk out in front. Roundabouts, approaching multiple lane roundabouts, selecting the wrong lane. So we're going to go through roundabouts. It's going to be in your test. Some of you go in the wrong lane. Like I have to actually tell you, okay, stay to the right. Stay to the left. No hate, but you don't know what to do. My job is to teach you, but some of you get irritated when I teach you because you think you know what to do. I can't play with you like that, Isabella or Isaac. I can't. I had to tell you what to do so we live, Olivia. I know. Olivia's like, oh, man, this is brutal. It is, Olivia. It's so brutal. Because, Alexis, I drive beginning drivers all the time. Evan, it's so brutal. But if you don't know this stuff, you're going to crash. And you can't say I didn't teach you because I'm very thorough. Exiting a roundabout, not signaling the correctly. If you're going around to the right, you turn on your right blinker. If you're going into the left, you turn on your left blinker. A double mini roundabout, treating it as one maneuver, failing to observe and giving right of way. Too busy roundabouts, hesitation. I'm going to hit you with anticipation and hazard, and then you're going to be in your courtesy driving. This is partial. Hazards. A ball rolls into the street. You don't anticipate a kid. I had to hit the brake. A vehicle in front of you is signaling right, but slowly. You almost rear in the car. Bright sunlight. A lot of you have bright sunlight. That's a hazard. A lot of you did pretty good. A bus is stopping at the bus stop. You don't anticipate. Driving through a puddle, which we had to drive through a lot of puddles. The vehicle head is driving erratically. Type in what you learned, please. Type in what you learned. 3 things you learned. I thought this was very powerful today. We learned some real situations about why beginners fail, why adult drivers fail. If this brings you value, I need you to subscribe. I need you to put the bell notification. We're giving you real scholarly resources. I really appreciate all your questions. Look at this content, and I need you to continue to elevate. I want to say thank you. Bye.